Yeah, I just upgraded my Paramount account. And
Smart. All of Star Trek is there now, except Deep Space Nine, still on Netflix.
did you hear they're releasing Deep Space Nine remastered on VHS of all things?
Interesting.
Yeah, they're. I think the angle is they think that with the boom in vinyl, they are making a gamble that it will kind of take off for VHS as well. I don't think so.
Happened to hear that on Friday, did you?
I did.
Okay, well, what was Friday?
Oh shit!
That's what I didn't think about it either. I was going, that's it.
April Fools. No, I totally saw it on Google News.
Yeah.
Here, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna totally search for this here.
I kept my VHF player, so great.
I did keep my VHS player.
All right, this was 2 days ago, so yes, April Fools.
I got it with a friend, media critic I really liked, did a video explaining why Silence of the Lambs and the Twin Peaks movie are the same movie.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh, this.
my cousin Loretta, and she's like, "What?"
Oh man.
Like,
Okay.
we both have these exact same scenes.
Here's the article. Paramount announces demastered edition of Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Voyager. And they show a graph of sales on eBay, and VHS shows a graph of it just arcing up really high, and DVD and Blu-ray taking a nosedive. It says for the full VCR experience. Oh man, I got trolled. I can't believe it. I feel so dumb.
Have I got some stuff for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to sell me some beachfront property in the desert?
In Arizona.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I smashed my finger with a hammer a few days ago.
Oh no!
I fractured the tip of it, but I didn't kill it, so I'm really happy about that. I was re-roofing a shed and I missed the nail and hit the nail, if that makes any sense.
Yo, I get it. Did you turn black?
Oh, black and blue, and it was swollen, and I was dancing and screaming and all the fun things that happen that come with the damaged nerve ending. So it was wonderful.
Jem was like, "Get off the shed!"
She's just glad it wasn't too seriously broken. The funny thing is, when I went into urgent care, the doc said, well, with the way the finger's swollen and how your pinky is fractured, the swelling is just holding the flat fracture right into place, so you don't even need to bind this up.
Nice.
Just don't bump it into anything for the next 2 to 4 weeks. I'm like, great. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my things up.
Awesome.
Hey, was there a Discovery episode called The Expanse?
Maybe.
Someone was telling me they just started watching Discovery and they were on Expanse. I'm like, wait a minute. You sure you don't mean Enterprise? So,
I mean, there's a show on TV right now called The Expanse.
oh, is there?
It would be a little bit on the nose for Discovery to have an episode named after a show that's currently on TV that's also about space exploration.
Okay.
It'd be like if Voyager had an episode called Space Above and Beyond or something.
Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome to the final episode of the 5th season of Next Generation's First Generation, a Star Trek Next Generation watch-along podcast where myself, Patrick Delmore, my co-host, Sascha Shouties,
Hello.
my dad, Tom,
Hey.
are all here watching the season finale of the 5th season of Star Trek The Next Generation, Times Arrow Part 1.
Yay, Time Zero. This is the episode where we find out the difference between a type L phase discriminator and a type R. That is the way to distinguish the difference between datas, by the way. And it is essential to, I believe, a message in a bottle, so to say. So this is going to be a really fun episode, I think. This is an almost Whoopi episode, correct?
Oh, she's in it.
She is in it. Oh, and the time traveling Mark Twain.
Yep.
Samuel Clements.
Yes.
That is right.
Going
Okay. So
Abraham Lincoln and Professor Moriarty as famous characters that the Enterprise has met.
yeah. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and cue this up. And we're going to give you the countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At the time of recording this, we're kind of getting it from a couple of different areas. So we're not going to be including audio for the episode because you might not sync up very well and it would just sound a little weird. I'm watching from Paramount. I believe, Pat, are you watching from Paramount as well?
Indeed.
Okay, well, that shouldn't be too difficult. So
Got it.
Here comes the countdown, folks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and play. A great looking ship, always.
Do you know how to subtitle this? We worked on volume, but we didn't realize subtitles.
Oh, let's restart it.
Yeah.
Because I just think they said Naboo too.
Yeah. It's got the icon up there.
Yeah. Oh, Mabu.
Right. Babu Hassan. Babu Hassan.
Okay, there was our false start. Now for real, pencils down, folks. The test is over and the real life experience begins. So sync up your devices, and here comes the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and play.
I thought
always a gorgeous shot of this ship. I love it when they don't do standard cut pan shots.
Hang on, Sasha.
Mm-hmm.
Still having technical difficulties.
Again.
Set up.
Oh man, good thing we're not charging by the hour.
Got the subtitles set up, but I can't get back to the episode itself. Okay. Those are set up.
Italian.
No. English. Return. Oh, there we go. Okay. Third time's the charm.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, and play. Another beautiful shot of this ship. These pan shots are great. It always keeps the show fresh, looks crisp. Interestingly enough, though, I noticed that the more we see the Enterprise fly by, it always seems to be moving forward. Like, it's rare that the Enterprise is moving towards the camera. Typically, they're moving away, even in a pan shot. And I believe they're in Naboo or Mabu.
Or San Francisco.
At Starfleet Academy, we did a slight stint in pod racing, where Data was able to connect his head to the main thruster, and they were able to overcharge and overtake the Tusken Raiders on their little elephant thingies.
Archaeological dig, and it's all human stuff. Like, I like alien civilizations.
Yeah.
I don't get excited about the 19th century.
See, Deanna's just kind of lurking on the bridge there, not introducing herself, just staring at the planet.
Yeah.
I can see through the noise of 1,000 minds to look at this planet and be confused. Riker's hair is a little different.
Are you watching the same episode as us?
I think so.
Oh,
shit. No, I'm not. This is Power Play. How I get stuck on Power Play? Oh my God.
Take 4.
Slap me silly, man. All right. Let me just get my shit off the pot here.
Patrick's already had 2 cups of coffee.
All right, how do I get into other episodes?
I know, isn't Paramount Plus the worst app you've ever had to use to watch anything on?
It's really difficult and it's super glitchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, agree.
Oh man.
First, got all access, but
We
just Apollo 10.5.
Hold up.
Spanish Flea by Herb Albert.
Da 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 da.
And so he lived inside a doggy from Madrid.
All right, it's happened. I'm on the right episode.
Okay.
Are you sure?
I sure hope so. I mean, I don't enjoy wasting anybody's time, including my own.
Only took 15 minutes. Imagine if we were like in a sound studio and had to, recalibrate the things you recalibrate in a sound studio.
Right. Well, this being the 4th take, let's just stop right now and order a pizza and
yeah.
and come back to this with about 3 or 4 energy drinks and some beers.
See if Eddie and Andrew are online.
Oh man. All right, here we go. It's happening. All right, so cue up your devices. You ready over there?
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, and play. We're in front of the right planet. It's Earth.
It's the moon. It's the Enterprise. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, trifecta.
Oh, it's beautiful. Starfleet Academy, the most used shot ever in this show.
It's the summer. It's going into the summer of 1992. I'm going to be in the 4th grade in a couple of months.
What? Oh,
yep.
Man. This is the summer I'm moving across country out from Ohio and into Seattle. Look, it's Earth stuff. A gun.
Yeah. He really knows how to point a gun to how to handle a gun too. It's like, oh, it's old. I can just point right at the door.
I love how they open with all this little stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, we also have Data's severed head over here.
Yeah.
under our
Yeah.
You think they lead with that, but no.
Yeah, you would.
Like, my life was meaningless until I brought the flagship back to Earth. Normally we only do this if there's a coup in Starfleet.
Oh, well, you know what? DS9 did it. They brought the Defiant back.
Yeah.
Worf was there for both. Whoa.
Now,
All right. Go ahead.
Apparently at the Museum of Science Fiction and Fantasy at Seattle Center. It's in the floor.
What's in the floor?
That Data's this prop of Data's head from this episode.
No.
Yeah.
What? I have to go check that out.
At it in the floor.
It'd be kind of cool if they put Data's head in like a foundation time capsule, just to kind of to boondoggle whoever's there, not boondoggle, to just kind of fool anybody who decides to dig it up in 400 or 500 years. What's his head? Does it work? Is it going on? Oh, it's a prop. Why is this a prop? Well,
think of his head, of the head looking more like a prop than like Brent Spiner's actual head.
Yeah.
I like that because you used to have, B movies where you would build like a creature that was obviously, a puppet, and then it would turn into a suit actor.
Mm-hmm.
And it pulls back to that. It's like when Data is shut off or dismembered, he obviously is not human.
Yeah. It's funny because nowadays shows like Doctor Who will make highly photorealistic props of their characters when they can't do stunts now. I remember watching a Doctor Who with David Tennant where it's one of the last Christmas specials of David Tennant where the character was tied to either a chair or a dolly, and the assistants were rolling him down the stairs in a chase scene, and they said that Dave couldn't do it because he was having back problems. So no problem, they just made a complete fake mannequin that was lifelike, and that you had to go back and watch. Is pretty wild. But here in Star Trek, I agree with what you're saying, is that when he turns off, you can tell he's not functional, he's not real, it's just a thing. We actually see probably about 2 or 3 different Data copy props, both in the first and second season, and also in the movies when they bring out B4.
Yep. There's lots all over the place. That must have been fun to model for. I think that is Brent Spiner there with a little trick done, not a prop.
Great shot of Data panning up with his head behind the thing.
And now everybody is confused by why the emotionless android isn't reacting with emotion too.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense for here's a guy who was afraid that he was going to live forever, now knowing that he's not going to. And
doesn't he say that he's kind of relieved to know that he's going to die?
Yep, he does.
Oh, Data dies so many times in this show. I can think of at least 2. So which death is the real death? So time loop episodes where a death is involved have always confused me. Like that DS9 episode where O'Brien goes a few hours into the future and dies of radiation poisoning. So they send the future O'Brien back.
Yeah, they did Voyager 2 with they took the Harry Kim who died from another universe to replace the Kim that died in the first universe. Yeah,
that's right, where the ship copied itself. Everything except the antimatter, which cannot be copied, of course. So they're just kind of doing techno babble roundup. They found a cellular fossil, which I don't understand why there's a fossil there. How can a fossil exist in a cave that's only a couple hundred years old?
It is not enough time for a fossil to form here.
No.
Correct.
Well, apparently for LB104453.
They created a scary alien species on this that they didn't really ever do anything with again until the novels, where they're the big bad erasing the everything that happened in the books.
Okay. So do you want to talk about it? Are you referring to that time you found that screwdriver in my quarters? No. I want to talk about your severed head.
Wants to have loose joints, Jordy. So it's hard for you to understand being a human with all those like balls and sockets, but I'm built that way.
Yeah. Here's a conversation where Data could foreseeably live forever, and now that he knows his mortality is out there, he has some comfort to it. It wouldn't be too hard for Data to look at the clock inside his other brain to find out how old he is, like how old he was when he died.
Occurred to me that he would be able to, just go to his, internal chronometer and be like, oh yeah, this is going to happen in the next 45 minutes, guys.
He's not dead. He is, what you call it? He doesn't die. His head just gets severed, and they take the body back and reattach it. That's so he wasn't dead after all.
Well, as we always compare him to Crichton on Red Dwarf.
Oh, jeez.
Full of spare heads.
There's.
Hey, Jordy, what's going on?
I thought I was the counselor.
Yeah. Like, well, we found Data's head in San Francisco. San Francisco, you say? There.
Yeah.
500 and some years ago.
Yeah. Will Riker and Deanna, they get all upset that his buddies found his severed head.
Well, she's really been working with Data on appropriate emotional responses, and I mean, she's got to go back and go through the book about what to do with aliens or non-human entities that lose their head. Now we know that there was a species from the animated series that could do that. They could make their bodies pop apart.
Yes.
That came back on lower decks to test the crew.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Oh, we were just talking about you, so now we got to be really quiet.
I know. He's going to be like, this happens a lot with junior officers.
Yeah.
Not so much with you guys.
Yeah.
This actually just goes to show how uncomfortable they are with their own emotions rather than with Data's.
Well, we brought this up through some text I sent. Discovery is sort of a motion trek.
Mm-hmm.
First show where it was more about, how people felt about those frontiers that they were crossing, that they really were, the frontiers of, connection and the human heart and stuff. And Data is really the only person that has to go through that, because everybody around him is kind of, I'm okay, you're okay, but I don't understand how you can be an android.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if he and Worf actually sat down and had a real conversation, it'd be like, well, a lot of people don't understand how I'm a Klingon either, Data.
Well, Worf and Data have a lot in common when it comes to social structure.
Yeah.
Is that they're so alien, not as in like, well, yes, they're aliens, but their baseline feelings and emotions and socialization are non-human, and this is a ship full of mostly humans.
Mm.
Oh, my Paramount is glitchy.
That's okay. I think we were out of sync a little bit.
That's so all right.
Way back would be hunky-dory. So like I said, less than 45 minutes later, they have now found the planet where the fossil came from. And it's going to lead Data into this adventure, although they want to be protective of Data. They don't want him to investigate. It's the old Oedipus situation. The more you fight it, the more inevitable it becomes.
Honestly, though, I don't know why Picard is kind of shy about this. I mean, he could have just easily said on the bridge, Data, since we know you are going to die and it is involved with this mission, we're going to keep you here and safe until we can understand the circumstances a little better. And now Data's pulling the classic, hey, why are you pulling me off the job? I'm more than capable, and you should stow your personal feelings and just let me do my thing. I'm kind of tired of that argument in Star Trek where the commanding officer who just kind of says, no, you're not doing it. And then we have a 5-minute conversation that totally undermines his authority by saying, yes, we are doing it after all.
Yeah. And that's confusing to kids in this situation. Here I am as a 10-year-old watching these shows where it's like, yes, it's the military. And yet the subordinate could still go to the CO and say, yeah, let me talk you out of the command decision you just made and have it work.
Right. Well, you see a lot of that in the workplace, though.
Yes.
And I hate it. It's like, you don't understand. We're moving forward with this. So we are in the same cave, different planet scenario.
Yeah. As they pointed out on Greatest Generation, they took a lot more care with that San Francisco cave than they did with this cave.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get to the center of the space and show what's really going on, and it's some pretty great special effects, kind of reminiscent of that episode where Geordi was turning into the monster.
That was a great one. Oh man. Yeah.
But once again, you have Troy for a reason, because if she wasn't there, they wouldn't know that they're in basically a call of ghosts.
Now, here's the funny thing where she goes, my God, Will, they're human. Okay, she's a Beta Z. Why didn't she have the same response when they went to that planet with the southern polar region creatures? It's
wasn't she blocked? No, she had one inside of her, didn't she?
Yeah, she did, but she didn't sense it until after she had crashed.
That's true.
And here she can just kind of be in the room and, well, no, she was kind of lurking and checking out the planet at the opening of the episode. So I take that back. But yes, if Troy's there, there's some psychic things going on and we need her for a read of the room. She's the verification that otherly technological absent things are happening.
Super intense Picard while this goes on. It's interesting. We don't go back in time further than Enterprise, but it would be kind of funny to do a pastiche where they explain how that makes somebody seem more in command if they have a chair in the middle of the operation setting the ship that they sit in.
Oh, there you go.
Because that's not something that your battleship has, is like a 3-seat bench for the command crew to sit in while the mission goes on.
So Data is beaming down?
Looks like it, because he's the only one that can use this equipment.
Because it's in his head, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no reason why we can't let him go. I mean, we're so far away from Starfleet, 45 minutes by warp.
It kind of makes me think of the cave in the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. I think it was a fountain of youth in that they discovered. There's a similar set.
Oh, geez. I just watching this scene coming up. I know what happens. Data's going to hold on to this gadget looking for the spatial rupture. It almost reminds me of a divining rod. A 24th century divining rod, and he's looking for some variance to see what's going on in this other reality. And watching it as a kid, I'm just thinking to myself, this is just not believable. I couldn't swallow it as a viewer.
One of your characters like Scotty or O'Brien to be in a scene like this where it's like, oh yeah, 1,000 rods. My grandfather used one of those back on the old O'Brien farm.
Oh. Though how he's narrating this is pretty freaky.
Yeah.
There's a mouth in the forehead of this creature. He seems to be ingesting little energy fragments.
Well, it's a callback. It's kind of a callback to Poltergeist, where they're finally able to talk to the little girl in the other world, and she's explaining to them what's going on, and they have to kind of give her cues. Although they can't talk to Data, only he can talk to them. Come into the light, Carol Ann. Of course, in that instance, it was don't go into the light.
Okay, but Jordy can't talk to him, but yet he is talking.
Yeah.
Well, I think they established it's one-way communication. They could hear him, but he couldn't hear them.
Right.
I wonder,
explosion,
because we haven't seen Jordy since Data died. If he's got, any of Data's stuff, wherever he is, and kind of talks to Data like the doctor talked to that the handles, the Cyberman that he had. Had that Cyberman head that he carried around.
Yes.
I could see him doing that. And I could see him, if he could get in touch with Wesley, giving him some of Data too.
All right. Here comes the true surprise moment that no one expected.
Yeah.
The holodeck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the Enterprise having a baby? No, that's a different episode.
Bum, 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 bum.
Look at all these NPCs just walking around. Oh my gosh, a Fu Manchu. Jeez. This is great.
Asking is, how about craft services?
French.
Oui.
That's a beautiful horse right there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pet its butt and slap him a little. The age-old tool of the time traveler, newspapers.
Which could be used as a wheel block back then too.
Yeah, that's right.
They were made of stronger stuff.
This guy, excellent acting, by the way, of someone who's got a neurocognitive disease or some kind of Parkinson's tremors.
Yeah. Can you help a fellow American who's down in his luck?
Help a 49er? Well, we can give you a new quarterback.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've always kind of wanted to check out, especially in like Star Trek especially in Deep Space Nine, you have all these people in the background and they're doing things, having conversations, working, carrying, lifting. Like this guy's lifting bags. There's a couple of people haggling over something in a cart. Is that what kind of coaching do they get from the director? I was like, just stand there and move things back and forth. Because in Deep Space Nine, when you see people talking to each other in the background, it doesn't make any sense. It's almost like a drunk person rehearsing in the mirror for a conversation they're about to have.
Sometimes you have the assistant director work with the extras to do the background stuff. So they might give like a different cue to them.
Yeah. I'm really surprised that Data isn't getting more attention for walking around in that outfit. It doesn't even look like a porter's outfit. If anything, I think someone just called it pajamas.
Yeah, that guy, in the red suit did.
And you wouldn't have seen like that color yellow, like not in a pattern.
Or even the fabric itself doesn't really exist. Well, no, those are wool uniforms, I believe. Remember, they got rid of the polyester.
Lord help you if you got an itch. So I didn't realize that they don't decide that this is Jack London until the second episode.
Yeah,
with him.
Really? I thought he introduced himself right here. Like, if you need anything, my name's Jack London. Oh well. Well, we'll find out.
Part 2. But this is very Adventures of Young Indiana Jones style character exposition.
I want to see him in Discovery or a spinoff with 7 of 9.
With Jack London?
Yeah. 7 of 9 in Jack London's adventures through space and time.
He died pretty soon after this.
Oh, that actor?
No, the character, Jack London.
Oh, gotcha.
If
I thought he lived to a ripe old age. Oh, there he is.
Mr. Goldacott himself. Yeah.
I'm gonna build a graviton beam and I'm gonna make the Bajorans pay for it.
Just because this is, how I was introduced to how time travel stuff works. I just think stuff like this is an absolute blast. You have every stereotype of a poker player at the table. You have the Native American guy. You have the sly Frenchman. You got the mutton chops guy that's going to back out of the game. But that actor looks like he has those mutton chops. Very
oh yeah,
Baker
definitely.
Vibe. I wish they had given Data some, he's got the gambler's vest on after this, but I wish they'd actually given him a new wardrobe like they do with the rest of the crew when they show up in the next episode. That's one of the more fun things, is all of the costumes they came up with for the crew.
Well, this episode won an Emmy for achievement in costume and design for his series and achievement in hairstyling for his series. Yeah, under the Creative Arts Emmy.
So Data's got the bowler hat with the feather
and the Frenchman's
vest.
He cleaned everybody out.
And then, of course, after they saw that, they came up with the Fistful of Data's idea for the next season.
Oh, that was such a bad episode.
Well, I liked it when I was 11.
It was a fun episode, and it's one of those few where you actually get to see Troy, Worf, and Alexander operate as if they would be in a family. It's a very nice little glimpse. Jack London. Michael Aaron is the name of this actor.
He's been in 95 Hallmark movies.
3 of them as the lost puppy.
Something called Christmas Knave. Sorrow Springs.
He works for a multimedia agency called mojotown.com.
Hey. And we just gave him a free plug.
Yeah, look at that.
You just watch. He's gonna send his bots out to see if anybody says the name of this company in relation to this Next Generation.
Oh man.
I'll send you some commercials to play on your show.
So now Data just kind of hands him a what is that called? A stack.
Yeah.
Just take this money, buy everything on this list, and keep the change.
Now Data has probably never, gone into any hard research about like how money worked in the 19th century at all. He's aware that, it can be exchanged for goods and services, but not like what the bills are or anything. But here comes the fate of the 49er. This kind of reminds me of, if you've ever seen Young Sherlock Holmes, when the baddies finally materialize the guy and his sister from the Romby Tep blowpipe. These two make me think of that.
Doesn't this guy kind of look like the 49er? Doesn't he kind of look like a really aged Robert Picardo?
Yes. Robert Picardo would have probably loved to have played the 49er.
So we just saw something very unusual. The evil aliens came and zapped the 49er, took his essence, and the Skeksis everywhere going, yes,
essence. They came to the 1880s to sap our precious bodily fluids.
You know, there's a few places where all you have to do is pay $20 and they'll do that for you.
Just saying. Yeah.
Woo, this ain't a kid's show anymore. So we are having our breakout session in the Lean conference meeting. How are we going to make this mission Six Sigma, guys? Data was our only Lean ninja. I don't know if you know anything about Lean, but it's basically a series on how to get things done efficiently in organization, and it usually starts with a meeting, just like this.
One of those. Okay, we could make Geordi the second officer easily. He's already a lieutenant commander, but that leaves a hole in engineering, and Worf can't really fill that hole.
Mr. Barkley can.
Yeah, chief engineer, no. Watch that thing and make sure it doesn't catch on fire, maybe.
Don't touch that glass.
Yeah.
Speaking of glasses, here's Guinan making her wonderful cocktails. And I absolutely hate how they quoted Guinan in Picard from a line in this show, in this episode.
Yep.
Oh, when we get a little further along, we'll go into that. But I was just really bent out of shape about it.
Yeah, we have a new Guinan now, a new actress playing Guinan now,
who does a really good job.
Yes.
If you want a burned out Guinan, that's who you want. So Guinan is, I think, about to dispense some mystery. What I like is how unconcerned she is, other than she just wants to make sure, hey, we're going to meet. It's going to happen, but I can't tell you about it.
Yeah, and we didn't, at this point, the term Allurian for her species had not been released yet. They may have been calling her an Allurian in the novels, because you do get a lot of weird Guinan stuff in the books. Okay. But on the show, I think Whoopi Goldberg had pretty tight control over this character. Like, you can write Guinan and not have her appear and, be as the author of that work, the master of what happens there. But Guinan was Whoopi Goldberg's idea and very much her creation.
That's true. Well, it's unique to her personality, I think.
Yeah.
I know Whoopi Goldberg always kind of wants to dabble in the fun little whimsical metaphysics stuff. Well, maybe not metaphysics, but like, well, there's an air of mystery to her character that just brings a lot of intrigue. Let's put it that way.
She just won her Oscar for Ghost, playing a character that's nothing like Guinan.
What did she do in Ghost?
She was the medium.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. She got an Academy Award for it. And then she did Sister Act this year, which was nothing like Guinan.
I refuse to believe that he just carried that up the stairs.
No. Then, oh, right. It's an anvil. But that's some fun physical comedy.
Yeah.
I don't mind this kind of stuff at all.
Well, We kind of talked about this, is that season 4, season 5, the show took those 1 or 2 seconds to capitalize on a moment to make it more personable. So instead of just watching Data walk across the room, let's have Data do something kind of funny that really reveals something about who he is.
And that was stuff Brent Spiner wanted to do too, because he really didn't like being kind of locked behind the makeup and having to be completely serious as Data, because he's a very comedic guy. Now, this is similar to the device that Spock builds in City at the Edge of Forever.
Oh yeah, think about that.
Yeah. And they go into the. I think they're also in San Francisco in that. They go to San Francisco a lot. They go back.
Well, for the same reason Doctor Who goes to London a lot.
Yeah, it's a hub. It's a hub.
Well, I think they were in, they filmed this in Los Angeles, and obviously this is a back lot, but
it's funny because a lot of people in Northern California really hate Los Angeles.
Everything important with Star Trek or with Earth happens in Los Angeles, or it happens in France. Well, I guess Starfleet Academy is San Francisco also.
I see London, I see France, I see Los Angeles. Oh, wait, I mean underpants.
Right.
So what did they just work out here in this scene? They Data kind of said this is an engine for the horseless carriage. Jack wanted to get into business with them. But did they really establish anything in that scene?
Just that he's going to kind of be a spy for Data.
Oh, man, newspapers are so handy.
Yeah.
Now the discovery of Guinan.
Ever since the newspaper article, Guinan has discovered many close friends.
Yeah. And I thought initially that the guy at the party was that guy stole his wallet guy from Back to the Future Part 2, but it is not.
Oh, it's not?
No. They just look similar. Wesley Mann is the name of that actor. Now, what do you think of Mark Twain?
What do I think of Mark Twain?
This impression of Mark Twain.
It's like watching a comic book.
Yeah.
Like I didn't believe people like this existed. I still kind of don't believe they do. I mean, you have to really be full of yourself to act like this naturally.
I was thinking it would have made, they probably just didn't have the ability to create a realistic setting for it, and also probably didn't want to have to deal with the language barrier. But this would have made a lot more sense if this was France at this time and this was Jules Verne.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, now I understand, like a soiree that they're holding for this Black woman in France, not in San Francisco.
Even as a kid, I did not understand how Guinan's presence in high society could be socially acceptable, because I knew just, we're not too far out from the Civil War here. This is what, 18 what?
It's the 1880s.
1880s, so less than 100 years.
My explanation
or
for
100 years, sorry. Go ahead.
From another country. This is an exhibition. This is a party where people are coming to look at interesting things. So she's not in society. She's on display in this room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. And by 100 years, I meant 10. Because, yeah. I mean, this is this
in the background. There's like this Indian prince looking guy, and I think you're going to see Native American guy in full regalia. Yeah, there's people walking around in turbans and stuff. So this is like, hey, it's the exoticism of the Far East. It's the exoticism of Africa. These aren't representative of people in America. This is another culture that the rich and powerful have kind of come to look at like it's a zoo almost.
Okay. Which did exist. I actually remember hearing that a group of Filipinos were kidnapped and put on display in a zoo in Midwest saying these are what indigenous people look like, and they built a fake village for them and everything.
Oh yeah, unfortunately you had museums and zoo exhibit beings for years, even into the 20th century.
I did want to say though, so it did occur to me pretty quick, not the Guinan part. I like how you set that up and explain the context. It makes a lot of sense. But for Mark Twain to be there, or Samuel Clemens, I had thought maybe this is kind of like he was a guest speaker, like he was paid a speaking fee to just kind of go to this party and labast or whatever it is. The modern equivalent would be a catered TED Talk.
Yeah. Definitely. And I mean, Mark Twain and Charles Dickens and Oscar Wilde, to some extent, kind of invented that, in that they were these famous authors that would also do lecture tours. Dickens had been dead for a minute by the time this happened. See, there's another person in regalia there that they just pushed past. But Guinan does a very good job. He's right behind Data now, some kind of prince. But Guinan does a very good job of not understanding what in the world Data's talking about here. And Data it's funny that he doesn't pick up on what's going on yet. He's totally unaware that Guinan is just this old. You think this is Guinan from his timeline.
Yes. Well, that's part of the comedy here. And obviously, because Guinan is an alien, she just kind of figures that, oh, okay, this is an off-worlder. This is someone from my world.
A servant sent by her father, which I like the idea of that a lot. I mean, I want to know
who Guinan's father is. That sounds like a story within itself.
Yep. We don't ever find out. Obviously, her world had not been destroyed by the Borg at this point. In the novels, she will run into other people from her species. 2 of the books I've read so far have to do with somebody that was Lacutist from her race, basically a Borg person that went back in time and found Picard when he was a kid, and then one where one of her species was on a space station selling information about Iconian relics. And she had to go there and straighten them out.
That's a fascinating concept.
And there's old Sam Clemens spying everything. Okay, come to this episode.
How did they arrive to, we need Samuel Clemens in this episode?
Cisco in the 1880s, and he did do some kind of science fiction-y stuff. Like there's a story about going to heaven, and that there are all these other species and races that have a heaven. So you're at the gate, and it's like, I'm from Earth. Well, which Earth is that?
The only one that I don't know, the one you're talking about, but the one that I think of is A Night in King Arthur's Court or something like that.
Yeah, which he talks about in this. But no, there's a short story, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, it's the claymation movie, The Adventures of Mark Twain. Scared the hell out of me.
Oh, I bet. Okay, $1 million question here. Who's flying the Enterprise? Ensign Willis?
Yeah.
Tommy Boy? I mean, can you imagine just being Boimler at the con and finding out that the entire senior team has just disappeared?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Worf goes back. Okay, Worf's in charge.
Now, when you said Tommy Boy, I was like, I could get a pretty good look at a servo by sticking my head up Data's ass.
Oh, brother. They just seem utterly unprepared for whatever they're about to do. there's no way for them to know that they're traveling in time, but they should bring some supplies like a first aid kit.
Especially when they've got the doctor with them.
Yeah. Oh, hey, there's the
budget.
Everybody was dance hall. Beautiful.
Money, money, money.
Those are some creepy aliens right there. I do have to say that this is the episode that really turned the corner for me in Star Trek, where like it's now a mature series. They arrived to where they want to be.
It's a mature series that can still have like laughs and stuff, because all of the stuff with Data in the past, although I was massively intrigued by it when I was a kid, it's still very silly.
You know, I don't believe I'm watching the remastered version. I think this is the original.
Huh. What makes you say that?
Oh, just it seems a little grainy on my end. I didn't realize Deanna was doing a direct contact to this vessel. So we're kind of getting off course here. Deanna has discovered a big container of life forms or past life forms. And in comes the Maytag man to recharge this vessel. Got your fresh life forms. Go ahead and just put it in the container, Steve.
They're just like, yeah, we're not even going to approach them as people. They're just, kind of soul stealers.
Why can they not see them?
Phase variants.
Ooh, cool.
Carrying. I could be a kaiju someday.
So the flip side of the story would be those two aliens are more or less caregivers for the remaining aliens who are slowly dying in that room. And it's one of those just because it's alien means it's bad kind of episodes.
Yep.
And the only thing bad is that they're harvesting people, but you don't know the intentions of them as a species. Well, that's the end of it. That's a cliffhanger. They walk into nothingness.
And the sky was the limit. Who knew what was going to happen next?
Right.
And I remember my dad and I went and sat out at the picnic table and just brainstormed, what could be coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Music provided by lofigirl.com. Artists include Tenno, Daydreaming, BVG in Mondberg, Insomnia, WYS, Snowman, Be Common Banks, Because. Episode cover art created by Matthew Kirschner. Podcast logo and main cover art provided by David Clawwitter. Audio engineering done by Sascha Schaudies.